Hey everybody, it's me, Brian Q. I'm back, baby. It's been a little while. Been a little while. I was about to say been a little bit, and I was about to say been a little while, and then I said been a little while. As though I was from the French Quarter, you understand? It's been a while. That's what they say in France. They don't say it in France, but they say it down in Louisiana. It's been a while. Anyway, I have had pneumonia, and I'm finally hitting a place where I'm, better to talk without having super bad coughing fits, or just have the lung capacity to sit here for 10 minutes. I gotta tell you, because my wife had pneumonia. And I was taking care of her, and then after a week or two, then I got pneumonia. And thankfully I didn't get near as sick as she did. She got very sick. But I was so just tired and drained at one point in the middle of all of it that I was on the couch. I needed something to watch, so I turned on Joe Dirt, which I don't remember if people, I guess I don't know where culture stands on Joe Dirt at this point. I remember when I saw it in the theater, and I thought it was really funny. And my memory is that I was constantly defending Joe Dirt. I feel like it was not popular in its day, but I think history has been a little more kind to it. I do think it's a very, very funny movie. It really plays to, obviously David Spade's sense of humor. Anyway, that's not the point of the video. Point of what I'm trying to say right now is that I was so drained at watching Joe Dirt, I started to cry. Because I'm watching it, and it's, there's some sappy parts in that movie. I don't think people remember, but Joe Dirt has some heart to it. And there just came a point where I was like, he's looking for his family, but his real family are the friends that he made along the way. And that stupid message broke down the little bit of walls I had left, and I started to get teary-eyed watching Joe Dirt. So that tells you kind of where I've been the last few weeks. Anyway, sad news to talk about. It's been a few days, unfortunately. But kind of today was the day I had the most voice to talk about it. But Tony Todd passed away. Really, really wonderful actor. And a big fixture on the, especially the horror convention scene, and by all accounts, just an incredibly nice, gracious man. So that's always a bummer. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Tony Todd, and show my respect more than anything else, because he is a guy who has, he's an actor. Working actor. He's a guy that shows up in a million things, even though he has some, pretty iconic roles. He's a guy that works, and so he's sort of ever present. Since the '90s. When I feel like maybe Candyman is guy right here. It's why I'm not playing a video game. It's because I've got Candyman in the old VCR. I feel like Candyman is where I really noticed him. Maybe the Tom Savini Night of the Living Dead remake, because I did really like that when it came out, and I think maybe I saw that first. I can't remember, but he's amazing in that movie. He's made for that movie. He's amazing in Candyman. The character of Candyman I think deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore of horror movie icons. You got your Freddy, you got your Jason, you got your Michael Myers, and I think a fourth place is debatable. Some people might say a Pinhead. Some people might say, I guess I don't know what the Chucky. I guess a Chucky would be one. Oh, there's the man. But I would say I would put Candyman as a if not the fourth place spot on that Mount Rushmore. I think he's a solid contender for it, and I think a lot of that comes down to Tony Todd's performance. I think it's a cool character visually. You know, the long fur coat, and he's got this like the chest that's eaten away, full of bees, and the hook hand. It's all really cool, striking imagery. But it's Tony Todd's performance. Look at it. He can be menacing and terrifying, but charismatic and drawing you in at the same time. I think where people talk about Freddy's charisma, and they do write Freddy in the early Nightmare on Elm Streets as more seductive than like a court jester that he becomes. But Candyman, I think, is a character that so much boils down to this really great performance by this really great actor. And so hats off to Tony Todd. But he does that in everything that he's in. It's just happenstance or lucky, I don't know what you would call it, but the fact that this actor got this role, I think, is what made that role an iconic movie character. And I think that bears out with the Candyman remake. Not that that's what this video, that's not what this video is about, but I liked the Candyman remake. I thought it had some really interesting different perspectives to take on the story. There were things I didn't like about it, but when you boil that movie down, the thing that it's missing is an actor like Tony Todd that can carry that character. And two, like rewatching the original Candyman, as I have in a couple times in the last few years, you realize so much that it's not Candyman's movie. He's not in a ton of the movie. Is it Virginia Madsen is the actress? Yeah. It's ultimately like the movie is the story of her character, but Candyman gets involved in a big way. But the Candyman remake really was more I don't know. It was more Candyman front and center, which I guess is also where the Candyman sequels in the 90s also kind of went, understandably so. But I'm really rambling. But obviously Tony Todd is so responsible for, I feel like, the impact of the franchise. But also I wanted to talk about, because I'm a big Trek nerd. I'm a big Trekkie. And Tony Todd is someone who is all over. I don't remember. There's not nudity in this part, right? Anyway, Tony Todd was Karn. Oh, there is, isn't there? We'll just, of course, the 5 seconds that I'm gonna talk here, of course, there's got to be nudity. Anyway, what if we fast forward a little bit? Karn was Worf's brother, and I always thought, that was maybe not the first time I went through Star Trek, because I was watching Next Gen from when it was new. So I can't remember. He probably played Karn before he played Candyman. But But again, coming back and rewatching, it's like, oh, like, that's Tony Todd, and oh, that's why, like, he's so good and so memorable. And then too, I remember, he played many parts on Star Trek throughout the years, like all great character actors. He appeared on, I'm pretty sure, Next Gen, DS9, and Voyager at one time or another. But he also, I was a big Xena fan back in the day too, and he had a really great episode, a very memorable episode of Xena that was very similar to kind of the story of the Flying Dutchman in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He was a cursed captain of a boat, and he couldn't go back to land. And was he collecting? Did he like collect every jewel that was green? Because it reminded him of his lost love and how green her eyes were, something like that. I say it's very memorable, and of course I can't remember the most important detail, but I always remember. It's like one of the few Xena episodes where I'm always like, I remember that episode, and Tony Todd was so good. And then wasn't he Venom in the first of these Venom movies? I didn't see it. But I'm glad he got a big paycheck here in the last handful of years. It's really sad when, somebody who is such a part of the fabric of your pop culture landscape, or, so kind of woven into all your good memories of growing up, and especially if you're a fan of horror movies, and he's just so ever present in the genre, and such a larger than life character. But again, seemingly a very soft-spoken, very humble, very gracious and kind man. So that makes it extra sad when someone goes, and when they go, I won't say 69 is young, but man, you should definitely have quite a few more years before that. So it's a bummer. Anyway, I don't really have a good way to end this video except to say, Tony Todd, thank you so much for all the good memories over all the years, and great performances, and just always being kind of an actor's actor. He's one of those guys that has that like theater gravitas that you can bring to film and TV, and really chew that scenery and really just act circles around a lot of other people. But yeah, you will be missed. And thank you everybody for watching. I'm hoping, I'm still probably not going to be uploading a ton, but I gotta get back on that horse. It was a little too easy to just lay on the couch, and I think I'm in a place where, for the most part, I'm back, baby. So keep an eye out for me. Thank you, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.